Thanks for tuning in, field instructors. You're done orienting your student, you've submitted a learning agreement about the task the student's involved in, and now it's time to turn our collective attention towards the first semester progress review. The tool is quite long and detailed. It's based on national accreditation standards, and it asks specifically about 41 specific practice behaviors. These specifics are helpful to students who very much want to know what they're doing well and what specifically they could do to improve. This specificity allows all of us to work together and focus our time, energy, and attention in how to best facilitate student development in areas of concern. The tool is quite specific, but it's not meant to replace your professional judgment. We know that you're the expert in your practice area and in your practice context. And there's plenty of room for this tool to be customized to your setting and to you and to your student. Just want to take a moment and remind you of the 5 best practices in field instruction. 1. Cultivating a strong, attuned, personalized relationship with your student, where they feel supported by you, understood by you, and as though you care about their learning and their education. 2. Having clearly identified educational outcomes. This tool really provides very specific outcomes for learning and may help clarify between you and the student what it is they're working on with greater specificity. 3. Students really need the opportunity to be observed doing practice, and 4, to be given feedback about how they're doing when they're practicing. And 5, this tool really helps you and the student reflect, integrate, and consolidate their learning, as well as to reset goals for the semester ahead. Before you begin the evaluation process, just take a moment for self-assessment. There's 2 extremes, really, of rater bias. Many social workers are so strength-based in their supervision of students that they fail to really identify areas where the student really must grow or develop to be able to be ready for MSW level practice. The other error is actually the opposite, being overly harsh, holding the student to unfairly high standards, or judging them because they have a style different from yours, even though they're effective in their own way. So these are things to just take a look at before you begin the evaluation process. To find the right tool for your student, please go to the link listed on the screen, socialwelfare.berkeley.edu, and then choose Field Education, and then choose Forms, Policies, and Calendars. Please note that the first semester progress review forms for first-year students are all the same, regardless of concentration. For second-year students, the forms vary because of the student's concentration area, and so please have your student select the proper form for you if you're not sure which concentration area they're from. We recommend the following steps for evaluation. Ask the student first to submit a self-evaluation using the form. Consider what they have to say as you review their learning agreement and all the activities they've completed to date. Think about the observations you've had of your student over time, and if they've had the opportunity to work with other members of your team, collect feedback from those persons as well. Then set aside time to rate the student on the form, and then dedicate an instructional hour to discussing the evaluation with them, and consider their input and identify and discuss differing perceptions. After considering all this, finalize the evaluation, click to sign it, and send to your student, and they'll send it to us. An overview of the form will indicate that there are 12 holistic competencies that the school bases its competency-based field education on: engagement, consultation, coordination, and collaboration, assessment, intervention planning, intervention implementation, systemic intervention, evaluation of systemic intervention, planning for transition, written and verbal skills, professional ethics, professional conduct, and professional growth and development. For each of these 12 holistic competencies, they're broken down into items, and you need to think about these items with respect to your student, and based on the observable indicators, do you feel that improvement is needed, that they're essentially competent for an MSW student level, or they demonstrate exceptional mastery? Not on the screen but on the form is another category, unable to judge. Many of these you will be unable to judge based on the practice opportunities in your setting or the short length of time you've been with your student. Please do not hesitate to check the box for unable to judge. At the end of each of these anchored scales, you're going to be asked to give a global rating for your student for that area, that holistic competency area. In general, we would expect most students at this point in the year to be somewhere between a 2 and a 3. And competency really is the goal here, not exceptional mastery. So we ask you to be careful not to inflate ratings and really choose the rating based on the anchors that best fits your student. We ask you to assign a number on a scale of 1 to 5 to the nearest 0.50 increment. And again, if you're unable to assess a holistic competency, it's fine to let us know that and to check that box. After each holistic competency, we ask you to enter your comments. Specifically, we'd like to know the observable student strengths or accomplishments that you've observed in your capacity as field instructor. In addition, we'd like to know specific ways the student could enhance or improve his or her competency in this area. There's a lot of boxes to check, which won't take you a tremendous amount of time. We do ask you to put your time into a thoughtful narrative so the student understands specific supporting examples that led you to arrive at the assessment that you did. At the end of the form, there's an opportunity to revise learning tasks and priorities for the second semester. You may do this based on opportunities changing in your environment or based upon your assessment that the student may need more work on certain areas and less work in others. So please feel free to tell us how the placement may change in the second semester. Also consider your overall grade recommendation to the school. If a student's progressing normatively in your point of view, they should be given a satisfactory rating. If there are clear problems that must be addressed, and you have serious concerns about the student's ability to be a social worker, unsatisfactory is the only appropriate choice. If you're kind of unsure, please make sure to request consultation from us, or just check the box here and we'll be in touch with you to talk with you before a final grade is arrived at. Please note that you make a grade recommendation to us and we make the final recommendation that ends up in the school's grading system and on the student's transcript. As mentioned, if you have any concerns about your student whatsoever, we strongly encourage you to call the assigned field faculty member immediately. We'd be happy to work with you to assess the problem, to be able to explain the concerns to the student, and to support the student in being able to address those concerns. Thanks so much for your time. We appreciate very much all the things that you're doing, and the second semester is really where a lot of the fun happens. Thanks for tuning in.